Liverpool, young Thomas. Liverpool today. I didn't watch the game. I know you were losing, but I didn't. This is me purely looking at the stats. It was almost like you were losing against a smash and grab type goal, but you should have probably been leading by half time, I would assume.
To say we should have been leading at half time was an understatement. They cleared 2 off the line. We hit the bar from 3 yards out. We missed. Diogo Jota was 1 yard out and sat on the ball instead of putting it in the back of the net. And that was just the best of our first half chances. They caught us on the counter-attack in the 3rd minute because Kostas Tsimikas fell over. And then it was a good attack. I think it was offside, though. But there's no VAR, so it is what it is. And then from the 4th minute to the 96th minute, we absolutely battered Leicester. How it only ended 3-1, I'll never know. I'll never know. We played so well. The pressing was at the best I've seen it all season. The intensity, the creativity, it was all there. I think we had something like 30 shots, and a lot of them were really good chances. The majority of them were inside the box. We were all over them. A lot of the fringe players.
Solid goal.
What a goal.
Oh, Dominic.
What a goal.
I'll talk about Dominic in a minute because he
no,
deserves his own
we're about
special
to go on
section.
him. Let him marinate. Let him marinate first.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll let you know.
Tommy, what? Hey, what? Tom is Dominic now. Yeah, it's Dominic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dominic.
Let him
Signing of the season. Signing of the
Give him another
season.
goal or two. It's Dom. It's my guy Dom. But no, look, we got the job done today. I thought we played really well. Cody Gakpo really well taken first goal. Good close control. Finally got past Connor Cody for once. He was the bane of my existence in that first half. Anytime they blocked anything, Connor Cody. But we finally got past him. Then Jota's goal, the 3rd one, that's just, it's prime Diogo Jota. He struggled to really get into the game for ages and ages and ages, and then pulled out a backheel goal in the 90th minute because it's just, why not? But Szoboszlai. After watching Naby Keita tarnish that number 8 shirt for 5 years, to go to Dominic Szoboszlai, who in his first 7 games has been probably our best player, or you can have him in Salah in that same level. Came on again. He's played the most minutes pretty much out of anyone, and still sprints, still runs. And the goal today, I knew he had a long shot in him, but that was something else. Right in the top corner, off the bar, and it made it so much better.
He almost took the net off.
Lad,
I've just seen it now. Absolutely. There's an angle that Copperholic has put out from like behind him. Absolute.
Right in the stanchion. It's just ridiculous.
If the net wasn't there, somebody in the Klopp was going hospital tonight because that ball was moving, bro. Wow, what?
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I know there's content. I know there's a lot of players who've had good seasons since joining, but for me, he's sign of the season at this point.
I agree.
And like the impact he's had on this midfield, which, if you looked at it last season, was genuinely a bottom 5 midfield in the Premier League. He has now been the catalyst behind getting it to where it is. Screamer today, and even when it wasn't a screamer, he was leading the press. He was creating chances, great performance, and a lot of the fringe players. I want to give a special mention to Ryan Gravenberch, signed on deadline day. That's a really good performance again today. Got the assist for the Gakpo goal. Great close control, great creativity, good defensive work. Endo had his best game so far. 13 recoveries or something mental like that. He was everywhere in the second half. I've got nothing to complain about. It's another really good result. Another 3-1. That's the 4th in a row now. So if we could, make it'd be a bit better, please. But no, I'm happy into the next round. Bournemouth away. I hope we win this cup. I'm not one of them ones who wants us to bin off the cup for a better chance at the Europa League. No, I want to win this trophy at the end of the season.
Bro, I stand by this statement, and I've said it for years. People that play down this tournament only do it as almost like they plant that seed so they can pretend to not be upset when they go out. Now, I don't believe you're as upset as when you go out of the League Cup or when you go out the Europa League or if you go out the Champions League. But everybody wants to win. I don't know. I've never had a day where I've gone, I really would rather Man United lose today. No one thinks like that. Like this whole bigger fish to fry thing, it's only the League Cup, it's a Mickey Mouse trophy, is a load of old nonsense. We saw it today. Listen, I'm a big fan of AFTV. Love Robbie to bits. But they had fans at the game. They did watch-alongs. They've done match reactions. I thought it was beneath them. I thought it was a competition that they didn't care about. That's why it's all nonsense and bollocks. because everybody still wants their team to win. They go to the finals, they celebrate when they win. It's Dom Hassam last year laughing at our players having their national flags when his players did the exact same thing 12 months earlier. I don't get drawn into that nonsense. Everybody should want to win this. They don't want to play it down. Winning trophies is what separates the big clubs from the small clubs. It's as simple as that. So why would you ever be happy at not winning one? It's crazy. Sam, on Liverpool, do you echo what Tom has said today?
Well, Tom said he has got nothing to complain about. Well, I got something to complain about. Liverpool didn't have their shooting boots on today. It should have been like 8-1. The amount of chances that we missed, especially in that first half, was ridiculous. Like, if anybody didn't look, if you didn't look at the game and just saw 1-0 first half, you would have thought that Leicester were outplaying us, had some good moments. If you actually looked at that first half, Leicester had nothing except for that first goal, which I do believe it was offside. And I actually do believe that Tsimikas got fouled from that play. So I don't think the goal should have stood. But again, as Tom said, we hit the crossbar. We somehow Jota sat on the ball. Still don't know how he done that. But this is from our second string team. And we were just peppering Leicester, absolutely peppering Leicester. Like, we literally just didn't have our shooting boots on today. It could have been like 8-1 today. But this is what, when I was watching Liverpool, I was saying to myself, I've got my Liverpool back. I enjoy us playing again. Last season was a blip, but we could see the problems. But again, you're coming back. You see Szoboszlai come on, sign of the season. I was before I was saying it was between him and Maddison, but Szoboszlai is something else, man. 60 million well spent. Even Gravenberch. If you see Gravenberch's assist for Gakpo, it was ridiculous. I'm not even going to lie to you. It was ridiculous. Like, we've got ballers in this team, and I'm very excited for this season. I'm very excited with what we can do this season.
Yeah, just to echo what you said. Sorry, Terry. You see what you said about Liverpool, about how last season was a dip. This is what I was saying in the summer. It's on tape. When we gave our predictions, I said top 3 is going to be City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. And people are going over the top with Liverpool's season last season. If you check the stats, in 2023, when their players came back, they were winning games. The performances were there. It was just too late because the damage was done. In pre-season, I think every game was 3 or 4 goals. The season started and it's just carried on.
If they beat Tottenham,
if they keep winning, people will be like, "Oh yeah, they didn't go anywhere." But a lot of people wrote them off,
If they beat Tottenham, then they're serious. If they beat Tottenham,
people were saying at the beginning of the season, Liverpool won't even finish top 5.
That was crazy. I said, I knew they were challenged. But to be honest, I think we all sleep happy today. Where all our clubs won, City's out. You can't complain.
Facts. 110%. Like the writing off of Liverpool in terms of, I still don't think they'll win the league at this point. But there's people talking not even in the top 5. I just thought was an absolutely outrageous comment to make. I didn't know much about Szoboszlai, but what a player he's been. I knew Gravenberch would be the only midfielder you've signed. Endo, no one knew as much about him. McAllister's probably been the most underwhelming of the 3 main midfielders. And I'm not saying he's been bad, but I knew Gravenberch would look the way he does. And people sometimes, it's interesting because typically with Bayern Munich, they don't let players go that are still brilliant or got loads left in their tank. But at the moment, something about Bayern Munich doesn't tell me that Bayern Munich is Bayern Munich is Bayern Munich. There's a few little issues there at the minute, and I can't quite put my finger on what. Of course, it's still a brilliant club, a massive club. But
they're lacking a DM. They're lacking that Paulinho. That's what Terry. If they got Paulinho, bro, I was gonna put money on them winning the Champions League.
But I don't. They're too sold on Tuchel. I'm not. I don't think they're too sold on Tuchel.
Listen. I'm beginning to think what Big Steve said about Tuchel is right. I think there's something again kind of wrong with him. But again, the thing with Bayern Munich is they just had. I just think they had better players than Gravenberch in his position, but being better than Gravenberch doesn't make Gravenberch bad. Yeah, and I think that's sometimes as football fans we get suckered into that of, well, who's like I had a debate the other day, who's better between Odegaard and Maddison. The crazy thing about watching the comments were no one was saying he was bad, but people were reacting like we were saying one of them was crap, and that was never mentioned at any point in the conversation. So
I
when you've got players like Kimmich in your midfield and you've got Musiala in the attacking roles, it's very hard to get into that team. But Gravenberch looks very good for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think the big thing for us now as well is the fact that when you watched us last season, our midfield, it was the problem area. You're watching Henderson look so off it, Fabinho looks so off it, and then the backups will be brought in where Naby Keita, who might as well have just been on, he was never on it to be off it. He was just Naby Keita. Oxlade-Chamberlain, who has been a shadow of himself. James Milner, who was probably the best performer despite being 37. And now we've completely refreshed that midfield in one summer to the point where if we had to rest Szoboszlai, McAllister and Jones for the game, I back the boys we've got in by Chesic, Elliott and Gravenberch to come in and drop a good performance. Last year, I was terrified if Thiago had to sit out a game last season, I was petrified for our midfield. Now we've rebuilt a midfield in a season and it looks brilliant.
You've added technical ability, but you've added, again, I know people hate to, you've added power, speed, pace,
passion merchants. We've had the passion merchants in there.
It's not even that, but you've added physical attributes that are just needed in 2023.